All sports, all the time.
There's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered. Legends never die.
This is the Spoken Podcast.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
I'm your host, Lance Twidwell.
Man, that kid, he can ball, man. He can ball.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
Patrick freaking Mahomes, baby!
Let's talk some sports, because that's what we're here to do.
You are tuned in to The Spoken.
This is the Spoken Podcast. I'm your host, Lance Twidwell, here inside the Stargate Media Studios with my guy, Trevor Twidwell.
What's up, everybody?
Episode 296 is in full swing, full motion. We're so happy for you to be here with us and for us to be with you, because this is the best time of the NFL season, of I would say the calendar year, if we're being honest here. Especially here in the Kansas City region, as we've all been very relaxed and not stressed at all. I'm sure that you all feel the same way. I'm sure you express my sentiments here. We are ready for what I would say the postseason to begin. I think that we're all ready for that. We have another week to go. We have another, was it week 18, Trevor, now? I know we're still getting used to the extra game.
I guess we have week 18, yeah.
Before we get to any of the fun stuff, though, today, guys, I hope you guys are ready for this, because like I said, we have an awesome show for you guys. We always say at the top of every single show, thank you, Trevor. So at the bottom of every single show, if you've not already done it, go to our YouTube channel, go to the Spoken Podcast, hit subscribe, hit like, share, notify, all that stuff. That all helps us, and it'll definitely help you enjoy this show even more, because you don't even have to have us remind you. It just shows up on your feed, on your algorithm on YouTube. But we would love it if you guys would do the most important thing. If you guys go to the comment box and just start chiming in during the show. We would very much appreciate that. We get people that comment after the shows. We love that as well, because we try to get back to you guys as much as we can. But when we're on the show, that's when we get to you guys as directly as possible, as quickly as possible, and we can communicate with you live on air. That's the best part. That's what makes this thing so much fun, and it's been so great for the longest time now. We've been doing this for well over a year and a half now, and it has grown this show exponentially, and it has made this what it is, which is so much fun for us every week. I hope it's been fun for you guys every week as well. So, I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready for this, because we don't have a lot of time today, guys. I want to get short and sweet to the point, because we have NFL football today, Trevor. You know, there's 3 games on the schedule for the NFL today, and then
important games.
A full slate tomorrow. So this is a whole weekend of NFL football. This is the way I wish it was at all times, where the NFL played on Saturdays as well, more frequently. I know they say it runs in with college. I don't really give a damn. I would say this is the best way of doing it, as opposed to Thursdays. But I digress. Without further ado, Trevor, it is time for Lance Rants.
Gotta scream! Yeah! We're back to motion! But I'm gonna do
So this has been a fun couple weeks for me. And Trevor, by the way, it's good to have you back, man. I know
Been about 3 weeks.
It feels like 3 months.
Yeah.
So let's welcome our guy Trev back, man. It's good to have him back on the show. I know you guys are probably sick of just seeing my ass on here.
I was out in the Sahara.
Discovering yourself.
Finding myself.
Yeah, finding your one true. I'm out here living my truth. You know, that's what Trevor's been doing for the last 3 weeks, guys.
I'm writing some bars. I'm supposed to be a rapper. That's nice.
Yeah, so he's back here right now, guys, while he's still trying to make it out there. So he, this is still his part-time gig in the time being. But we appreciate him being here and making time for us during his ayahuasca trips there in Rogers. As you guys can tell, this is something that I've definitely been leaning into over the last few weeks on this show and on Arrowhead Allies. I want to let you guys just know how relaxed I've been when it comes to the Chiefs. We know the last couple seasons have not been fun. We've talked about this ad nauseum on this show and post-game shows Trevor and I used to do with Vaughn Booker, former Chief.
Shout out Vaughn.
Shout out to Vaughn. We love you, brother. All the Starcade shows we've done. Chief Concerns, I've been on shows with them. I've been on shows with All Chiefed Up, my boys. We've had these talks. And then somewhere in the middle of this season, I finally just realized this is just how it's going to be right now with this team. They're gonna sleepwalk through the season. They're gonna find ways to win ugly, and then when it is time to access playoff mode, they're gonna do just that. And for the last couple weeks, I've had some people agree with me on this, but I've also had a lot of people push back on me on this. And I understand both, because there's the common Chiefs fan that just, no matter what, they're just going to support the team blindly. They don't really care. They watch the games because it's fun for them and their families to do something together, and that's why they do it. But then I get the disagreements from people, because some people are really believing that this team just isn't better than they were last season, which I just think is completely absurd, seeing how ass the wide receiver room was last season and how much they relied solely on the defense last season. That hasn't been the case this year. The Chiefs are one of the 10 best scoring offenses in the NFL this year and are the best offense on third down this season. And actually have some of the fewest, I think, third fewest drops in the NFL. So they're substantially better offensively than they were last season. It's not even debatable, and they're just as good defensively, at least statistically.
If only we could get better defensively on third downs as we are on offensive third downs.
That would be the one. I would agree with that. But the reason the reason I've been so relaxed is because this team has shown me in 2023, if they can overcome that, they can literally overcome anything. And so what I decided was to put my robe on, kick back, have a few Stogs. Maybe some scotch in this coffee that Trevor made this morning, which, by the way, is absolutely delicious. Highly recommend you go get yourself a barista like him. That's actually his true calling. And then I throw on my shades, man, and have myself a nice, just relaxing day, because the future is goddamn bright, ladies and gentlemen. And that is how I feel right now. I feel like I'm kind of stealing like the dude's vibe, because that's just where it is right now, and I will abide to it. I feel very good about where the Chiefs are. In fact, I feel better about the Chiefs right now than I did in 2022. Because that defense back then was an average defense that capitalized in certain moments. They were really good at getting to the quarterback, but they were very average in scoring defense. The Chiefs right now have the number one scoring defense in the NFL.
Over the past few weeks especially, yep.
Yeah, they're giving up 18 points a game for the season. And I think it's 5 straight games they've given up less than 20 points in games.
It was
since
the Chargers.
Bills game.
It was the Chargers, right? And then they got shredded.
Yeah, they're
by
like
the Bucs.
18.8 or something like that now.
Yeah.
So the Chiefs almost have like a full point on them.
Yeah.
And the Chargers had a last place schedule.
So I'm
Whereas
hoping,
the Chiefs
I'm hoping the Chargers catch the Bills.
Yeah, well, the Chiefs have like the 8th or 9th hardest schedule in the league this year.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this, and yes, this season has not been fun. We have not been having fun, but let's get right to the Steelers game, because I think this is the perfect encapsulation of what this team is and what they're going to be moving forward. Because let's be honest, this Steelers game represented to us what the Chiefs finally look like when healthy. They are finally a team that is healthy. They finally have all the weapons that Patrick Mahomes was supposed to have, or at least most of them, without Rashee Rice.
And
obviously,
they finally figured out a way to protect Patrick on his left side.
Yeah, and
I think that's the most important thing.
We're going to definitely get to that in a second. I 100%. I could not agree with you anymore on that.
Health in that as well, yes.
But see, we look at and everybody talks about how the Chiefs have played this year. And real quick, Trevor, we can put up the schedule or the standings real fast. Go ahead and throw those standings up. I don't know if you guys noticed on there, but it says right there the Chiefs have one loss. And they're 15-1, and that Z stands for clinch the number 1 seed. Is that correct, Trev? I believe that's correct, right?
I would believe so.
Yeah. So basically, the Chiefs now have nothing to really play for in Week 18. We're assuming they're going to play their bench players. But there's something that I think this game showed us, guys, is that and we talked about this 3 games in 11 days and how grueling that was going to be on the Chiefs, and we all hated it. None of us liked that.
Yeah.
I thought it was completely unfair, especially when the Chiefs had a Week 6 bye. It was just complete bullshit that happened.
Well, yeah, the Chiefs had an out, and just in case they lost one of these games, I mean, it's understandable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And here's the biggest thing, Trevor. And 2 of these games were on the road, and one of these games was against a team in the Steelers who had to win this game because they're still fighting for their division. And this was without the Chiefs' best defensive player in Chris Jones.
Right, which was the most impressive part of the whole
And
game.
what does the Chiefs defense do?
What, 5 sacks? 4 sacks?
5 sacks, 2 takeaways. Trent McDuffie now has 3 straight games with a takeaway.
Yeah.
Which before then he was not that guy, especially with 2 interceptions.
Well, he's had plenty of forced fumbles and things like that.
Sure,
but the back-to-back
2 interceptions,
picks
yeah.
has been a fun thing to watch, man.
Justin Reed
could be a
getting the pick in the end
effect.
zone.
Could be a trend.
Yes, you're straight. Omenhu's getting into his
Man.
full health. Mike
George
Dan is healthy again.
Karlaftis.
George Karlaftis is healthy. All of a sudden,
Felix looking good out
Felix
there, having a
looking
nice
good.
little
How about it?
speed rush on him, boy.
How about it?
Go.
Thank you for the FAU shout out.
He
That's
looked
my
good.
guy.
He looked good on that speed rush, man.
The linebackers looked amazing. Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquil and Leo Chenal were doing their thing. The secondary looked strong. Why?
Justin Reed out there laying the wood, too.
Because everybody was clicking. You didn't even have your best piece, and you have 5 sacks, 2 turnovers, and you give up 10 points.
Yeah.
And the 7 points you gave up was a Russell Wilson rushing touchdown. I'll live with that all day long. Yeah. If he happens to squeak in there and hit the pylon, I'll live with that. But they didn't allow shit down the field other than a couple moon ball miracle balls.
George Pickens under 50 yards receiving.
I mean, McDuffel bag had him locked up.
Locked up.
And so this game, defensively alone, should make you feel amazing about this team moving forward to the postseason. But it's also the fact that we finally got to see, like Trevor said, Patrick Mahomes was it the second straight game now? He hasn't been sacked.
Yep.
Or two of the last 3 games hasn't been sacked. And it's back-to-back games. It was the Texans game. Yeah, you're right. Which everybody thought he was going to get sacked. Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter.
And before you get to the left side of the offensive line, I gotta give the right side. Jawaan Taylor, I know he's looking like the goat, the negative goat of the game, like because he was heavily penalized in this game. Had a couple holdings. One of the holdings was bullshit in my opinion.
Yep.
Definitely was not a hold. He allowed 0 pressures from T.J. Watt from that side. T.J. Watt didn't smell Pat's cologne the entire game.
Right.
So I'm going to I know we want to gloat about the left side, and that's definitely the topic here. That should be discussed because that's been solving a lot of problems.
Sure.
But I was very impressed with Jawaan Taylor and the way he played. I know he gets kind of thrown under the bus a little because he gets penalized, and honestly, some of it was trash. He gets games where he just gets picked on sometimes. He was incredible against T.J. Watt in that game.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That needs to be said as well.
Looking back, because I was giving Jawaan some shit during the game, but after I went back and watched it again, I was like,
look at the numbers.
Actually,
T.J. Watt got shut down,
well,
bro. So, I'm just saying. 0 pressures from T.J. Watt.
And by the way, shout out to the chat. Guys, Ruben Cruz, Dustin Norton's in the house, Timmy Hassan.
Yep.
Got some good people in there already. I believe my boy Ruben called me Lance Hefner. That is accurate. I do appreciate that. When you got the looks, man.
Ladies, get back.
Go and get. So
back to your rooms.
But no, I do want to give praise to Jawaan Taylor on the right side of the offensive line. Trey Smith was awesome in this game as well. Creed Humphrey, I mean, the middle of the offensive line is just elite in this. I think they have the best guard center trio in the league. But this is going to be praised to Joe Thuney and Caliendo as well. Because Caliendo stepped up huge in left guard, man. It's something about the way the Chiefs find these backup left guards. Because, Joe Thuney tears his pec in the AFC Championship last year, like the last few minutes of the game. And then Allegretti steps into the Super Bowl and just balls.
So good.
And now we're seeing him.
And he played through a torn bicep, too. He played through something.
And you and I were talking about the other day, when we watched the Commanders game. You see Allegretti leading the circle, like getting everybody out.
That's a Super Bowl champ right there.
Former Chief over here, Super Bowl champ, out here leading the pack.
Like, he's the only guy on that team that has a ring, so
I love it,
man.
Well.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, shout out to Caliendo for stepping in and stepping up, dude. He's played incredible. You've not heard one bad negative thing about him. But let's be real here, man. The MVP, I think the third most important player, if not the second most important player on the Chiefs right now, is Joe fucking Thuney.
Dude.
I mean,
he's one of the MVPs of this team.
I don't think people understand how hard this is to do what he's doing. You step into playing guard and playing tackle is significantly different, let alone left tackle.
Yeah.
And Joe
All
Thuney,
the pressure is on you.
Bro, he has literally stepped in and just played like an all-pro. He has been unbelievable. Now, I will say this, guys, and I think that you're going to have to agree with me on this. This is great in a pinch. Joe Thuney can do this for you for like 3 or 4 games. You don't want Joe Thuney to do this deep into the postseason. That is why it is imperative, Trevor, that they do get DJ Humphries going. I do believe DJ Humphries is going to play in Week 18.
So you're on that side of things.
I very much am. Here's the reason why. Because this offensive line is at its best when Joe Thuney's playing guard. Joe Thuney is a guard. He's playing very good at left tackle, but when you have to play 2-3 playoff games in a row, you don't want to put Joe Thuney in that position. I'm not saying he couldn't succeed.
I would agree.
But he's not an organic, real left tackle. DJ Humphries is.
I would agree with that, though, if our game plan was a run-heavy game plan, which it very rarely is. Because he's great at run blocking and opening up those gaps for the running backs to run through. But at the same time, our passing game hasn't looked better because the protection that Joe Thuney's been producing on the left. And we don't know if Humphries is good because he hasn't looked too good when he's had his. He looked okay.
He looked fine. His hamstring.
Yeah, but how healthy is that hamstring? And do we want to try to fix something that's not broken at the moment?
That's the question. Yeah. If let's say Humphries can't get healthy or he gets hurt again, then the Chiefs have no choice. Then they just have to stick with this. I'm saying in an ideal utopian society that we could possibly be in, you could be sitting here going, hey, Humphries is healthy. He's now been with the team now for a month.
Yeah.
He's been at practice. He's doing his thing. He goes and plays Week 18, plays well. And all of a sudden, he gets rest again, and then you can put him back. And then here's the thing. If it doesn't work at left tackle, you can swing Joe Thuney right back out there again. So what I'm saying is I think the offensive line is at its absolute best when you have a real natural left tackle with Joe Thuney next to him at left guard. Because, look, I think right now DJ Humphries would probably be like an Orlando Brown. A solid C+, B- left tackle for this team. But that's all they fucking need. Because what they do, Trevor, in the 2022 season, they won the Super Bowl that way.
Yeah.
So
But your take is only in theory because that's yet to be shown yet. You say the offensive line is at its best, but we don't. That's only in theory because that's what you're speculating that it's going to be at its best when we have a true left tackle. But it's been at its best when Thuney's at left tackle.
But you would agree that postseason football is a different level. So in theory,
I mean,
Joe
who's
Thuney's
got,
best
who's
at left
got
tackle.
more experience than anybody on that position?
Fair. Well, DJ Humphries does naturally, but I'm saying like he's a more experienced left tackle is what I'm saying. I feel more comfortable, Trevor, having a guy like in baseball hit cleanup that's been known to hit 45 home runs every year, as opposed to a guy that, if he steps in and hits in a pinch and can hit a home run here and there, as a reliable power hitter here and there, that's fine. But you don't want that guy hitting the guy you bring off the bench to be hitting cleanup every day.
But I think
you
you would agree too, though, that momentum is a hell of a thing, especially going into the postseason. If we're rolling with momentum, I don't know if you'd want to throw something in the spokes of that wheel. Ruin that momentum.
I would agree with that if this was DJ Humphries' first time playing with the Chiefs. Like if he hadn't played a single snap with the team.
This could be his last hurrah, though, man. If he goes out and he knows he can go out and win a third championship in a row with this team and be the guy that went to left tackle and kind of saved the offense. What a way to go out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, if anybody's motivated, it's probably Joe Thuney to continue to do what he's doing.
But I guarantee, and I want to speak for Joe.
I don't think he's just like, hey, I want to go back to guard.
Joseph, I don't want to speak for you here.
himself.
Joseph L. Thuney, whatever your middle name is. I just like the L, I would like to believe, Trevor, that Joe Thuney would rather go back to guard. Because that's his natural fit.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you want to play where you're comfortable.
I think the opposition would like him to go back to guard right now, too.
I don't know.
He's been destroying
Let's say
folks.
DJ Humphries is just solid.
Sure.
Then you have then all of a sudden your trifecta comes back together with Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey, and Joe Thuney.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, like, fuck, now we get now they're impenetrable. Because I do believe in DJ Humphries.
I do, too.
Just for the side record.
Well,
I do believe he's going to be a good player.
The Chiefs obviously do, too. We get
Right.
a handsome little
And
payday.
there's a chance he's back next season. So, I mean,
I think he will be.
There's a lot to talk about this, man. I think that the Chiefs are going to give DJ Humphries a real opportunity. I think he's going to play in Week 18, and I think they're going to see what he can do. And I think if he plays well, you're going to see them roll that into the postseason. And if it doesn't work, they'll scrap it and go back to Joe Thuney and Caliendo will go to left guard again.
You know me, man. Like, I don't care what name is on the jersey. I just want whatever best formula is out there to produce wins.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. So if Thuney's got to stay at left tackle, I'm 100% on board with that. If they think that Humphries is the guy for that job, I'm also on board with that too. But it comes down to what is the best formula to equate and to develop W's.
Well, real quick, I want to say this. Shout out to James T. Kirk. He's in the chat as well. Glad to have you here, brother. Shout out to you, man. The offense was so fluid in this game against the Steelers. And the biggest reason why, Trevor, is because I think that and look, I know people hate this theory, but this is one theory that I do buy into. We've talked about this. Andy Reid holds back.
I think it's, I mean.
Andy Reid holds back. And I think
we try to deny it every year.
Yes.
And then it comes this time, you're like, oh, where the fuck was that play for Travis Kelce?
Right.
How is he wide open?
How are these schemes working? So now, again, I will give Andy the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
He had an arsenal this time. Like, he actually had Hollywood Brown. He had D-Hop. He had Travis Kelce.
Like Travis Kelce all of a sudden has his best game of the year? Okay.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
This is what I've been trying to tell people. Travis Kelce's been on ice.
Now he knows he can take 2 weeks off.
Yes. Travis Kelce was on ice. He happens to get the record-breaking touchdown on the final game of the season for him.
Yeah.
Like, what are the chances, dude? Like, the way Patrick Mahomes had his best game by far, the moment he has the healthiest team he's had, and Andy Reid is actually in his bag.
Xavier Worthy the last couple weeks has been getting these routes that we've never seen all year.
He looks like a first-round pick.
Yeah, dude.
He's finally looking like fucking
so good.
God, I was about to get to that. Let's just fucking jump into it.
Fuck yeah.
Xavier Worthy looks like a dude.
Xavier
Worthy looks like a dude.
Only negative is he needs to learn how to break that first tackle.
Yes. Well, he's 165 pounds. Kind of hard to do.
These shoelace tackles are
I really
pissing me
think
off.
you and I could lay him out.
Dude, he could have like 13 touchdowns this year if he can just learn how to avoid the shoelace tackles. He gets tripped. He's like, he's down immediately.
I really think, Trevor,
he will get past that.
If Xavier Worthy ran in this room right now, I'd drop his ass. Like, he's so little,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's fast as shit, and he's an athlete, and I think that you're seeing him and Patrick Mahomes gain that trust together. The Lord and Savior connection is finally working. The Lord and Savior, get with it. The Lord and Savior connection is working, guys. We also saw the Hollywood connection getting together. You saw that early in the preseason, the first pass before he fucked his SE joint up. Hollywood Brown is a field stretcher for this team. He's a difference maker.
Dude, he looks
Guys,
good.
I'm telling you right now, this is the dude we've been waiting for all damn season. He may not light up the charts and the box scores, but him being on the field opens so much over the run game for Travis Kelce, for Diop, for Xavier, for all the other pieces on this offense, guys. He is such a valued commodity. And again, I think there's no coincidence that you saw Andy in his bag the moment he had. Because look, what is it? 2 weeks in, Trevor. The first game of the Hollywood game, his first game against the Texans.
Yeah.
He had 20 snaps, 8 targets.
8 targets. And 7 targets against the Steelers.
Almost 50% of his plays, he was getting the ball, or the ball was being thrown to him.
Yep.
Clearly,
And he
this
looks
team-
good. He's out there taking
Yes.
hits, getting right back up. That was what I was worried about, man. That first couple hits. Like, how's his shoulder going to hold up? How's his collarbone area going to hold up at taking that impact? He's ready to go, dude.
Yeah.
He looks good as hell.
Yeah, so the offense had fluidity. And again, guys, people can try to downplay this performance all they want. I don't give a shit. This is against a 10-win Steelers team on the road.
At home, dude.
They had to win this game. They got healthy at the right time. They had TJ Watt healthy. George Pickens was healthy. Mika Fitzpatrick is healthy. Casey Hayward was healthy. How often does that happen? How often? This Steelers team always battles injuries. How often does it happen that all their best players were healthy and they still got destroyed? Them cheeks got clapped. The Chiefs clapped them cheeks.
The clapper.
They did, yeah. They gave him the old clapper, Trev. I'm surprised the lights didn't go out. Bane didn't show
Oh,
up.
they
and do
did,
the-
baby. They
I
did.
was born. I was surprised nothing of that sort happened, dude, because this is the kind of performance the Chiefs put out there. And it is no coincidence, guys, that it's the final game, the final real game of the season. And how coincidental is it to you, Trevor?
It was a playoff game to us.
What did I say before the season, Trevor? I said this is going to be the team that the 2020 team was supposed to be. You remember how that team, Trevor, was the best team we had seen of the Chiefs era, but they had all those injuries to the offensive line, and they just were decimated. And then by the time they got to the Super Bowl, the Bucks just ran all over them.
Yeah.
That team was supposed to win that Super Bowl. That was the best team of the Mahomes era. They were 14-1 in games
The
Patrick
offense
Mahomes
was
played.
so good.
14-1, dude.
Yeah.
This is that team now. This is the real, like the winning version of that team.
This team is more talented.
And how ironic, Trevor, they're 15-1 with an even better defense and even a more experienced Patrick Mahomes because he's 4 years older. He's so much smarter, so much more intelligent. You're seeing what that 2020 team was supposed to be this time around.
Yeah.
And credit to all the pieces that played their part last week. I'm even going to give a shout out to my boy, and I'm going to flaunt for a second, Trevor. My boy Nico Remigio playing his part in the return game. Their return game has never looked better.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
I love 𝚂𝙿𝙾𝙺.
No, you're right. He's got way more juice.
Dude, he's finding
He's
the
got
gaps.
juice.
He's getting them at the 35 like every damn punt. The kick returns have never been better. Like Nico Remigio is showing you why this guy belongs.
He almost
on this
fumbled that
roster.
one, but yeah.
He almost did.
Yeah.
Those things are going to happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Get a good hit on you. But Remigio is showing you guys, and shout out to James T. Kirk. He's talking about the Fresno boys. My boy, he's from Fresno. This dude is showing you guys why he's special. And he's doing it, man. So shout out to Fresno State. Shout out to James T. Kirk. Shout out to my boy Nico Remigio for showing he's got what it takes to be on an NFL
we've been
roster.
waiting for him, man. He looks good. He's definitely. I mean, we heard it all preseason too that he was going to be we thought he was going to be the guy that was going to be the returner for this team. Remember, it's that battle between him and McCole. I guess obviously McCole won it for good reasons. He's a veteran, trustworthy guy, savvy veteran. But he's definitely added more juice to this special teams.
It's giving him life. Yeah, exactly. It excites the offense. You know, there ain't nothing better, bro, than when your defense makes a 3-and-out stop. You get a punt return, and your boy gives you 26 yards on a punt
25,
return, and
30
you get to go
yards.
out there and juiced up on off. Yeah, exactly.
And
There's
that
nothing
one
better
too
than
where
that.
he flipped the field, he goes like one side of the field and he came all the way to the other side of the
Man.
field and got like an extra 10 yards.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Remigio is giving them that juice they've been missing in the special teams. Because what do we know about special teams over the last couple of years, Trevor? Nothing but just heartache,
we
dude.
tried Sky Moore.
Yeah.
McColl's been good, and then we tried Kadarius Toney last year several times. Yeah, man.
So shout out to the Chiefs and what they showed in this game because they're showing us, guys, what they are about to be in this postseason. Now they get 3+ weeks of rest because they're not going to play any real starters. If they do, maybe for a half. But I almost guarantee you, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, none of those guys are going to be
Especially
playing.
Chris Jones.
Joe Tooney will not be playing in this game. Maybe some of the younger stars, like maybe Xavier Worthy gets like a couple snaps. Maybe Hollywood Brown. You know, he just kind of gets.
Kingsley's going to get a lot of.
Yeah, maybe some. Yeah, D-Hop won't play in this game. Like the older veteran players will not play in this game.
Maybe we'll see some Uche.
And I ain't gonna lie to you, Trevor. I think the Chiefs might win that game still. I think Carson Wentz might do his thing.
That's tough, man. It's a Denver team that's going to need to win. So
Well, not necessarily because there's the thing.
if they win today,
they win
I
today.
guess. If they win, especially and the Chargers lose, they don't got to do nothing.
Right, and the
That's
Chargers
true.
might lose because the Patriots team at home, desperate, playing spoiler. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We can talk about that later because that game, the Chargers and Bengals are on about 25. No, Chargers and Patriots about 25 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So here we are, guys. Like I said, we're feeling great about this team, but You know, Trevor, I want to talk about something that's a little bit different before we get to speak it, because I want to make today's show as condensed as possible, because I want to get to you guys, man, because that's what matters most.
Get your questions in.
Patrick Mahomes is the MVP. I'm just going to say it right now. I've come to that conclusion. And I've honestly felt that way for a while now.
It's been a roller coaster of a year, but yeah.
But I'm gonna explain why, Trevor. You know, when Trevor and I were growing up, and a lot of you guys were growing up, we remember the early 2000s. Who was winning MVPs? You had your Peyton Mannings and Brett Favre's, right? Why were they winning the MVP? Because their team was always winning a ton of games. You remember like the Colts teams back then, Trevor? They had like Dwight Freeney and like Raheem Morris and like a couple good players, but their defense kind of sucked sometimes. But they were always winning like 13, 14 games. Why was that? Because their offense was so fucking amazing. Or Peyton Manning was just that valuable, right? And so he won a ton of MVPs. Same with Brett Favre. He won a ton of MVPs. Aaron Rodgers, ton of MVPs. But like, we knew why they were winning those MVPs. We knew why they were winning those MVPs. Because of them leading their team to success. But then somewhere along the line, it then became more about, well, who had more touchdowns?
Yeah.
Who had more yards? Who had a higher completion percentage?
NBA became the same way.
It became more of the statistical. It became more of a statistical thing. It became more of a storyline thing. You know, more of a narrative-driven award. So we had to adjust to that. And now, Trevor, I ain't gonna lie to you. I have no fucking clue what makes you the MVP of the league. So you know what I did? I used my brain. I went with common sense. I went with who is simply the most valuable player in this league. And I'm not just going off a bias here because I know people think you're a Chiefs fan. Of course, you're going to feel that way. I have the numbers for you guys today. That is, I truly believe I'm going to convince some people today, Trevor, that Patrick Mahomes is the MVP. I truly believe that. I think I'm going to sway some people today. And I'm not even here to do that. I'm just simply here to lay out the facts. You guys know who I am. I'm never trying to convince somebody to believe what I believe. I just want to give you guys what I got. You do with it what you want to do with it.
This feels like LeBron all over again.
Here we go. So let's go ahead and Trevor throw the first thing. I like going over like the last few weeks of the schedule, or first, the last half of the schedule, what Patrick Mahomes has done. Yeah. Look at his last 9 weeks, if we can put that up real quick, the picture. They have 8 wins, which is the most in the NFL. He has the 7th most yards per game. His touchdown to interception ratio or turnover ratio is literally the best in the NFL, 19-2.
Jesus
and his quarterback rating is literally 99. Which is 10th in the league, which means he's tied with probably a bunch of players, which probably means he's like 6th.
That are separated by like 0.2,
yeah, exactly. So he's really like 6th in the league.
Yeah.
How about this? When Patrick Mahomes even had just a healthy Kelce and D-Hop in the lineup, let's go get that 17-game pace, Trevor, if we could.
Gotcha.
So what a 17-game pace with Kelce and D-Hop in the lineup looks like for Mahomes for a whole season. 66 completion percentage, 4,165 yards, 34 passing touchdowns, 6 interceptions with a 96 quarterback rating. Why do those numbers matter, Trevor? Because every single one of those statistics are better than Lamar Jackson last year when he won MVP. Every single one of them. Fewer interceptions, more touchdowns, more passing yards, and a higher completion percentage.
A far better record.
Let's look at the next one, Trevor. This is a 17-game pace with Kelce, D-Hop, and Hollywood in the lineup with Patrick Mahomes. Oh, would you look at that? 72 completion percentage, 4,930 yards with the same touchdown total, except 0 interceptions with a 111 quarterback rating. If Patrick Mahomes had these numbers, sure, would he not be the unanimous MVP?
He would, especially at 15, maybe possibly 16-1.
And this is just a sample of what he would do and what he has done when he's had his horses. And this doesn't include the fact he didn't have Rashee Rice after week 4. Yep. I want to do a player comparison real quick, Trevor. Let's look at the first slide here. So player 1, you look at those numbers, 67 completion percentage, 3,678 yards, 821 rushing yards, 29 total touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 103 quarterback rating. Those good numbers, right? Solid, absolutely solid numbers. Player 2 has 68 completion percentage, 3,938 passing yards, 307 rushing yards, 28 total touchdowns, 11 interceptions with a 94 quarterback rating. Look at the next slide real quick, Trevor. Player 1 is Lamar Jackson in 2023. Player 2 is Patrick Mahomes for the full season this year with all the injuries he's had. And Lamar Jackson almost won unanimous MVP if it wasn't for that one vote for Josh Allen. According to Vegas Insider, Patrick Mahomes is currently tied for 5th in MVP odds with Sam Darnold, who's currently leading a wild card team, and Joe Burrow, who's currently out of the playoffs completely. Team record played a massive role in Lamar Jackson winning MVP last season because they won the 1 seed and his numbers were very, very pedestrian. So why does the standard change the very next season when Patrick not only put up the equivalent numbers, but also won more games than Lamar? The Mahomes fatigue is as real as the air we breathe. And people tell me, Trevor, well, it also comes down to what you do in the biggest moments. What do you do in the grandest moments? What, the stage is the brightest and it's all on you and you got to make a big clutch performance. Hey, I'm glad we brought that up, Trevor. Let's go ahead and throw up that next one. Here are game-winning drives in 2024. Would you look at it? Patrick Mahomes leads the league with 7. Sam Darnold 5, Jared Goff 4, Jalen Hurts 4, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have 2. Patrick Mahomes has more game-winning drives this season than Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson combined.
It's pretty good.
And how about we look at the biggest factoid of them all, Trevor? And this is a tweet that went out absolutely viral. I had people all over the free world, celebrities, retweeting this one, talking about it, Trevor. These are some facts that Patrick Mahomes had to deal with this year. Look at that next one.
Gotcha.
Patrick Mahomes hasn't had a left tackle all season. Lost Hollywood Brown until week 16. Lost Rashee Rice in week 4. Lost Isaiah Pacheco for over 2 months. Lost his second-best quarterback in Jalen Watson mid-season. Lost Charles Omenihu until week 14. Had the top 10 toughest schedule. Won the toughest division in the AFC. It's not even debatable. Went 7-1 versus playoff teams. And led his team to a 15-1 record. If Patrick Mahomes is not the MVP, Trevor, no one else is. Because no one else has that collection of achievements this season. Yes, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen technically have better numbers. But they've also had easier schedules, and they have not had as much on them to do week in and week out. I know everybody talks about, well, the Ravens defense has struggled this year. But the Ravens also had an easier schedule and have losses to the Raiders and Browns. And Lamar was ass in both of those games. Josh Allen lost to that Ravens team 35-10 in prime time. Then follows that up the next week by going to Houston and taking it out of that team by completing 9 of 30 passes, which is the worst completion percentage for any quarterback in the history of the NFL to throw 30 or more passes. Where is the loss on the Chiefs' record this year that's that bad? Where's the performance from Patrick Mahomes in a loss that's that bad? The only loss the Chiefs had was in Buffalo when it was the Buffalo Bills Super Bowl, when the Chiefs still didn't have Isaiah Pacheco. I think Omenihu just got back. They still didn't have Hollywood Brown. They still didn't have a left tackle. Wanye Morris was still playing left tackle, by the way. And it was a 2-point game with 2 minutes to go. And Patrick didn't even have a great game.
Yeah, he started the game with a pick.
But he started playing very well throughout the game.
Yeah.
The point I'm making, Trevor, is the lows of the lows for Patrick Mahomes are still so much higher than anything Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen have done. In fact, I'll go as far as to say this, Trevor. I don't even think Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson are the second in MVP this year. I think it's Saquon Barkley. All the crap that Eagles team's had going on, all the toxicity, all the BS with Nick Sirianni getting in fights with players and fans, and all the distractions they got going on. Jalen Hurts getting injured. And what has been their one constant? Their defense was ass for the first month. They finally got playing. They finally started playing good defense. But what's been their one constant all year? Why do they have the second best record in the NFC right now? Saquon Barkley is having a historic season. He has a legitimate chance to break Eric Dickerson's 40-year record?
Yeah.
No, I mean, outside of Chris Johnson, no one's come close to that thing. Maybe Adrian Peterson 12, 13 years ago. What I'm saying is, there's value to what Saquon Barkley is doing that I think ups any of these other guys. But when you look at what Patrick Mahomes had to overcome this season and how they've won literally almost every single game this season. They went undefeated at home. They went 7-1 against teams that are in the postseason. The AFC West is by far the toughest division in the AFC.
Yeah.
There are 3 playoff teams in this division. There are 3 teams that are going to win 10 games in this division.
3 of the best defenses in the AFC.
By far.
Yeah.
And the Broncos probably have the best offensive line in football.
Yeah, for sure.
And you have 3 Hall of Fame head coaches, not to mention.
True.
I mean, my God.
Yeah.
And they won this division going away.
And we're 15-1.
and they went 15-1. He hasn't had a left tackle all season. Sure, what is the most important position on an offensive line?
Left tackle.
By far.
Yeah.
Look what Brock Purdy does, Trevor, when Trent Williams is out.
But what's the most important position in football? Quarterback, and we have the best one.
That's what I'm saying. Trevor, look what Brock Purdy does when Trent Williams is out of the lineup.
Oh yeah, dude.
He sucks.
Stark difference. Yeah.
He looks unstoppable when Trent Williams plays.
Yeah.
Imagine Brock Purdy having to take on what Patrick has this year.
Yeah.
Imagine any of these quarterbacks. Like I love Josh Allen. I love Lamar Jackson. They're two of my favorite players in the world.
Yeah.
But those dudes would not lead this team to 15-1. No chance in hell. How do I know that? Look at their game-winning drives. Look at them on third downs. Look at them in the fourth quarter as opposed to Patrick Mahomes. It is night and day different. Patrick Mahomes is the MVP this season. He's not going to win it.
No.
Because what we now know is, well, it changes from year to year as to what makes you the MVP.
It's just like Coach of the Year. I mean,
how the fuck is Andy Reid never in contention of it?
Yeah, he has like the 12th best odds or some shit. Like,
unbelievable,
bro,
man.
This is every year though. This is what we do. It's definitely shiny new toy syndrome. That's what these awards have become.
Yes.
Who's the shiny new toy this year? Who's having the best numbers? Who's having the fun TV experience at the quarterback position? It's not about the intangibles anymore. It's not about the internal fortitude and winning games and finding ways to, it's not about that anymore. It's mostly become a context list award. It's really about the who has the shiny stats. So
yep,
I think Josh Allen's going to win it. Unfortunately,
it probably will be Josh Allen, and then when he loses,
it's deservingly so.
And then when he loses in the first round of the Ravens, that's going to be the thing that's going to suck for him. Well, they probably won't have him in the Ravens. Well, no,
it's probably going to be the Broncos or the Chargers, right?
Yeah, it'll probably
one of those
wild
teams
card
could
teams.
be
He won his division. Yeah. That's the thing, dude. Is it's gonna be. I remember growing up, like I said, Trevor. I remember hearing about Tom Brady winning his MVPs and Peyton Manning and these guys. Well, they have the best record even last year. Well, I know Lamar's numbers weren't very good, guys, but they won 13 games and they won the 1 seed, and Lamar had some good games. Are we not talking about the same team? What did Patrick do this year? What did the Chiefs just do? It's literally the next year. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand this, Trevor. And we sit here and talk about it, about how, Patrick Mahomes didn't put up as big of numbers. Do you understand, though, that Patrick Mahomes' numbers this year, he's first in completions. He's top 5 in 3 different statistical categories. Last year, Lamar Jackson was not top 5 in any of the top 5 in those categories. So,
but they got the 1 seed.
Yeah,
right?
and they lost 2 more games.
Yeah.
And lost in 2 fewer games. Come on, man. Like, help me out here. Let's be real. The Ravens had the number 1 defense last season. Mm-hmm. The number 1 defense last season.
It was pretty damn near tied with the Chiefs, but yeah.
You know what I'm saying, though? Statistically, they were the best defense.
They allowed like a fewer points a game, and they had the same amount of sacks as us
Yeah.
last year. I still think our defense was better.
Well, the point is, they were the elite of the elite. They were, top shelf. You know what I mean? So, this is not a diss on any other quarterback. This is not a diss on any other player.
You're adding context.
I'm adding context. No one's talking about it.
Yeah.
I finally saw yesterday, Trevor, our guy Nick Wright finally brought it up on the show, and I appreciated him doing that. I saw Emmanuel Acho, of all people, bringing it up. It's finally becoming a conversation, but I think it's a conversation too late. Because this has been going on all season. But like you said, Trevor, it's the shiny new toy syndrome. Yeah. Because the Chiefs weren't winning sexy. Yeah. Like, I guarantee you, if the Chiefs beat some more teams like they did against the Steelers, Patrick would be more in the conversation. Mm. But does that change his value? No. It doesn't change his value at all. If anything, it may lessen it, because you know what it does, Trevor? It takes away a few of these close victories that Patrick had to really dive deep in and do extra things that other guys just simply can't do. Go look at Josh Allen's record, Trevor, in 1-score games. Him and Sean McDermott are terrible. They are terrible in 1-score games. They have to blow people out to win the majority of their games. Yeah. And again, Lamar Jackson, I'm not making this up, guys. Leave it or take it, whatever you guys want to do. He has bad losses this season. You lost to the Browns at home. You lost to the Raiders at home. Mm. That is unacceptable.
Yeah, there's some inexcusable ones too. See, like it wasn't like he was balling in those games. No. He was bad in both those losses.
Like he balled out against the Chiefs in week 1.
Sure.
He had like 400 total yards and like 2-3 touchdowns.
Yeah, we got the dub.
Balled out. He balled out though. Yeah. Lamar did his thing. But even in that game, Trevor, he missed Zay Flowers wide open in the end zone. That won them the game.
He ran all over us in the postseason last year too, and how'd that work out?
These are just the facts. You guys, like I said, do with them what you want. If you agree, fine. If not, I'm not here to convince you. That's not my job. I'm just here to state the facts. You do with them with what you want to. That's up to you guys. Trevor, speaking of the people, man, let's get to them, dude. It's time for speaking. What are the people asking? What is the questions? Do we have any yet?
We do. We got 4 in here, but if you guys got any while I'm reading these ones, go ahead and get them in. So I know Mac 10 was in the chat earlier saying he's got questions for us. Hope I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Have yet to get any, so see what you got, buddy. Dustin Orton, though, from the top rope. I always like to say Dustin Orton from the top rope because it sounds like I feel like I'm talking about Randy Orton. So the top rope.
Legend killer.
Yeah, it just fits. Know what's fun? Coming home for Christmas and realizing your sister's new guy is a Giants fan, constantly giving him shit, and he has no ammo to fire back. That's not a question, obviously, but I just wanted to address that one. I thought that was a funny comment. But happy holidays to everybody. Hope you all enjoyed your family time, whether they're Giants fans or not. Being a Giants fan is rough.
That is rough, man.
They got
a great history. They got a great history, but yeah, right now is not good.
They just better not fire Dayball. That'd be a big mistake.
It doesn't look like it. John Morrow said he's going to stick with him and his GM because I think that we know
Daniel Jones wasn't his guy.
Right. I think they're going to let Dayball get his quarterback, and then if he doesn't succeed, then he's got to go.
Yeah, if they can go get Shadir Sanders or something maybe in this draft, that'd be huge.
The Giants know, Trevor. They go and fire Dayball. One, they're probably not going to find anybody better, and two, Dayball's going to get hired the next day.
Yeah,
he's a value commodity. He's a very smart offensive guy.
Yeah, and they'd feel sick to their stomach. He goes have success somewhere else.
Yeah, because they already saw Saquon Barkley leave and have success.
Yeah.
And by the way, that wasn't Dayball's call either. That was the GM's call.
Of course, he didn't want Saquon to go. Of course not.
No.
Tim Hassan, this isn't a question either, but I wanted to get this just address this one. Hey guys, hope you're doing great. Greetings from Nigeria. Super excited about the Chiefs season so far. Can't wait for the playoffs. I hope Jalen Watson makes it back for the Super Bowl at least.
Hey,
that's
Timmy,
possible.
Yeah, Timmy, bro, shout out to you, man. Thanks for hitting us up, dude.
Yeah, shout out to Nigeria as well, man.
It's probably like what, 5, 6 o'clock over there. Probably.
I'm not gonna try to guess what the time is over there.
Well, because our boy Britt Chief, he lives in England, and it's like a 6.5 hour difference.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it's around the same over there in Nigeria, maybe a little more. Regardless, Timmy, dude, thank you, man, for hitting us up. We miss you, man. We haven't heard from you in a while. We appreciate you whenever you check in, dude. And yes, we obviously share the same sentiments. And like Trevor was saying, it is possible that Jalen. We were reading some. Our guy Dr. Jesse Morse was talking about that. He really does believe that there's a real chance that Jalen could even play maybe in the AFC Championship. So that's looking good. I would welcome that back easily with Jalen Watson coming back, dude, because he's, outside of Trent McDuffie, been by far the Chiefs' best cornerback this season. Really developed this year, took a big step forward.
Yeah.
Always been a solid player, but really took a step forward this year, man. Helped with the man-to-man coverage, which is what they've been needing.
Yeah, for sure. Dustin Norton with this question. Speak it. Nervous at all for Rust at potentially having it almost a month until our starters play again? I'm
glad this is a question that we get to answer, Trevor, because we didn't address it, and I was hoping this would be a question.
Good question, Dustin.
Plain and simple, yeah, it's a great question. But plain and simple, no. And here's the biggest reason why. Because, one, we have years now of collected data of this team being able to win no matter what the situation is.
Well, and I think Andy's proven to have his guys prepared, ready for these kind of games.
And two, Trevor, who's played more football than this team over the last 6-7 years?
Right.
No one. If anybody needs this kind of rest, it's the Chiefs. I only buy into the rust versus rest thing with teams that are unproven. Like teams that just simply have not given us any belief or not enough belief that they can come in and be sharp when the time comes, whenever they come back. We know, man, this Chiefs team can come back in a month and be the team they need to be when it's postseason time. They've proven that because they've been the 1 seed, 4 of the last 7 years? I believe it's 4 of the last 7 years, if I'm not mistaken. They've been the 1 seed, which means they've had extended rest over their opposition, and they've never not been to the AFC Championship. So since Patrick Mahomes has been here, they've at least won 1 postseason game every single year. So I'm not worried at all about it. In fact, I actually welcome it this time around because, like I said, they are relying on older players. Travis Kelce is still going to be a valued commodity to this team. D-Hop's in his 30s. Chris Jones is 30. Like a Minahu is still banged up. He's coming from an ACL injury. That's still something he's recovering from. And letting him have rest on that knee, letting DJ Humphries' hamstring heal up a little bit more, giving Joe Tooney some rest. My God, that guy's had to play multiple positions. He's 33 years old. Letting some of their key players relax, kind of take a break mentally too, because my God, dude, you know how hard it is on this team every single week when the pressure of the world's on them to win every game. They play 7-8 primetime games. They played every single day except Tuesday on the calendar. If any team needs this rest, especially when they had their bye week in week 6, that's an eternity ago. This team's a completely different team they were in week 6. If anybody needs that rest, it's them, man. And no one. And here's the other thing. One final thing, Trey. I know I'm rambling, but Andy Reid, when he gets extra time to study and look for his opposition, because you got to remember, guys, Andy doesn't just study the next opposition; he studies the next couple. We heard Trevor right after the Houston game, he got right to where he went right back into his office, didn't leave the stadium, went right back into his office and started studying Steelers. So Andy now gets 20-plus days to not just study the potential next opponent, but his potential next 2 to 3. He might be even studying NFC teams.
Yeah, if we can
get
go,
extra studies on
we can
them.
go dominate 3 games in 11 days. You give Andy Reid time to prepare even more so. I mean, we all know how that goes, man.
Right, man.
So, yeah, no worries on our end here. James C. Kirk, first question from me. Oh, yeah, I would never have guessed it was from you, James. Just kidding. First question from me. McColl or Nico? Who will Andy keep active?
I think you're going to stick with Nico. Mostly because of the fact that I think McCole Hardman is just not right health-wise right now. And I think that Nico has given them assurances that he can handle it. If Nico hadn't really done anything, he was just out there fair catching the ball or just staying out of the way, there's probably a really good chance they bring back McCole the moment he's healthy. But I think that, like I said, that he's given them that belief, that confidence that he can take care of the job. And quite frankly, like I said, guys, I think he's looked a little even better than McCole has.
He's got more juice.
And you guys know I'm a McCole guy. I love McCole. But I think if they had to choose right now for the playoff push, they're probably going to stick with Nico because he's got the hot hand.
Agreed. James T. Kirk, Lance, I like the new threads. Will this be a permanent look?
Depends, man. I mean, the Chiefs keep me relaxed. I might just stick with it, Trevor. I might throw a Stogie or two in there. They win the Super Bowl, I might throw in a J. Who knows?
Look at my fucking big pun over here.
I'm just, hey, look. Pimping ain't easy, fellas. You know what I'm saying? This is what we do around here now. I do like the threads. I agree with you. It's very comfortable. And quite frankly, it makes me look a little bit more handsome than I actually am. So it enhances the experience around here.
Lances?
Yeah, and enhances the lances. You know what I mean? So I might stick with it. You never know, man. Like I said, the Chiefs keep doing what they're doing. This might become my skin. I might literally just become this. This might just become me. So we'll find out, guys. Stay tuned.
They are one. James T. Kirk, did you see Craig Carlton saying how easy it is to switch from guard to tackle? Honestly, who's the biggest tool in sports media?
I mean, well,
Lance's favorite is Jason McIntyre, for sure.
Well, yeah, best choice Howie Mandel, though, is pretty close up there, dude. I will say that.
He is a paid clown, guys.
Yeah. I feel bad for Danny Parkins. I even actually feel bad for Mark Schlereth.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? I actually feel bad for him.
That
Because
shows
Craig Carton is a
such ass.
dipshit, dude. But yeah, J-Mac takes the cake every single time because I actually do believe that J-Mac believes what he says.
Yes.
I don't think he's playing a part. I genuinely believe that's who J-Mac is. So
he was born that way.
Yeah, he really is, and it baffles me that Colin keeps him around because he's a hack in my opinion, man. And Craig Carton, what he does, a guy who's formerly a prisoner for betting issues, is a guy that loves to just get a rise out of Chiefs fans. That's why I don't really address him. I don't really address the guys that are always trying to get a rise out of Chiefs fans. Because that's all they're looking for. J-Mac, guys like him, I love keeping receipts because then they play stupid afterwards and act like they didn't do what they did. Remember my whole compilation video I made a couple years ago when he said, man, no one was saying the Chiefs were going to finish last. And I literally had a 10-minute video of people saying the Chiefs were going to finish last or miss the playoffs.
People just say that shit and they just forget they said it.
Right.
Yeah,
so
I think everybody's going to forget it.
I would do my best. This is coming from me, a guy that hypocritically pays attention to a lot of what the national media says. I would do my best to try to just let that fall off your back and not let Carton get to you because I promise you guys he's just trolling. He is desperately looking for any attention he can get because he knows he's on the morning slot, and that's usually when the fewest people are actually watching, and that's when the fewest people actually care. And I guarantee you that it sucks to know that he's the third most important person on a show, and it's literally named after him. Well, it used to be. It's Breakfast Ball now, but he used to call it the Craig Carton Show. So now he's not even the host of the show anymore. He's like a side act. So things are tough for Craig Carton right now, guys. It's not looking good for him. So let him have his moment. Let him have his little time in the sun. But when the Chiefs continue to win games, he's going to run out of things to say because he's a Jets fan. What do you expect?
Yeah. Michael Maldonado. Barkley needs 298 rushing yards in the last 2 games. Will he get it?
Who? Oh, okay. Yeah.
298 rushing yards in the next 2 games. It's a lot, man.
I think here's the thing. I'm saying yes.
He could get 200 against Cowboys this week.
Here's the reason why I'm going to say yes. Because I do believe that he's going to be able to run the ball against the Cowboys. I think if he just gets 120 yards against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I think he gets the record. Because guess who's the final game is against?
I don't know.
The Giants.
Oh my God.
In New York.
The Giants are going to do everything they can to stop that man,
and they
though.
won't be able to do a damn thing about it.
Bro, that would be the most poetic shit.
I am rooting for this to happen because I want him in front of the Mara family,
That'd
even though I know
wild.
they didn't want him to be gone, but the beauty of him breaking that all-time record
That's
year
got
after
to
year.
happen.
It's got to happen.
That's got to happen.
So I'm saying yes. I'm saying that Saquon Barkley is going to make it happen because I think Saquon Barkley has been looking towards this all year. I know that he wants to win a title, but here's the thing: the Eagles still they have to keep playing ball.
Yeah,
they still can get the 1 seed.
But if that Giants game doesn't affect their seeding, should he play though?
Well, let's say they clinch the 2 seed
That's
after
what I'm
this
saying.
week,
And
they can't move up or down.
Right.
Yes,
that record's not worth it.
Yes, I would agree with you. And I think even
if he goes out there and gets hurt for just trying to get that record, that would be the most dumb shit.
I think even Saquon would understand that.
Yeah, Sirianni would get fired if that's the case, bro.
He might get fired anyway. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, fighting with Zach Ertz, and she's seen that shit.
It's pathetic. Fighting with his own players, Jalen Carter, who could have literally murdered him with a finger. It's pathetic what he does. But anyway, I think that he's going to go for the record because I do think the Eagles are going to. I think even in Week 18 are going to be still playing for something. I think they're still playing for the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Because
I mean.
The Lions could lose, man.
Could lose this weekend for sure. They definitely could.
I mean, I would pick them over the Niners.
Yes,
but
the Niners are one of those teams though. When they're already out, they don't have nothing to lose. Those teams and the Lions are banged up, bro.
Right?
Really banged up. All right, next question from Julie Gulia. Shout out Julia. What's up? What's up? Do we have a deficiency in scouting left tackles, or is it developing? Could be both, honestly. We have trouble finding.
I don't know. I don't really know about the scouting side because I don't really know because I know that they tried to get Trent Williams years ago, so obviously they know what good
developing
left
has been
tackles
an
are.
issue for sure.
They tried to get Laramie Tunsil this last offseason. I think it's development. I really do think it's development right now, and that's not to say that I don't think they can develop. I just think they just haven't. Look at the wide receiver position.
Sure.
I mean, the wide receivers, they've really struggled at wide receiver, but all it takes is one.
Yeah.
And you saw Rashee Rice become something, and now you're seeing Xavier Worthy becoming something.
This is every team. Every team has a development issue at some positions.
Yeah, but it can change the reputation once you just you get 1 or 2 right.
Right. Kingsley could break that mold too. Maybe next year if it becomes something. Who knows?
Yeah. Who's to say they don't invest in another left tackle in the draft? Like I'm going to tell you guys right now. This will be for off-season fodder. But I'll just give you guys a little sneak peek. I was talking to Marcus Dash yesterday on the phone from Chief Concerns. We were just kind of catching up on some stuff. And I told him that I think, Trevor, what's going to happen is I think the Chiefs are going to trade a big piece from their team right now for multiple picks in this next year's draft. And it's going to be like the 2022 draft where the Chiefs have like 10-plus picks. And I think that you're going to see them either trade up in the first round like they did for Trent McDuffie.
You thinking they're going to trade Trent McDuffie?
Stay tuned.
That's the only piece I can think of that would get multiple picks.
There might be other names too. Just stick with me. I think there could be a sign and trade. I think the Chiefs can maybe franchise or maybe franchise tag a guy. There's a name that I don't want to give away yet, but there's a big name that the Chiefs have that they can tag and then trade off like they did with L'Jarius Sneed. They could do this. My point is I think that they're going to trade a big piece, get multiple picks for that player, and then have like a 2022-ish draft where they have like 10 picks, trade up in the first round, go after a left tackle or go after like a badass another cornerback or another wide receiver or whatever they need. I think it's going to be a D end or a left tackle, in my opinion. I think that's really because they need D end help big time. I definitely think that it's going to be one of those two positions. But I think that that's what you're going to see is them go up and try to get one of the best players. Because luckily, this is a draft that has a ton of really good offensive linemen and interior and exterior defensive linemen. So that's what I'm looking at right now. We got somebody in the chat.
Yeah, Julie Gooley just followed that up, your statement up with, she said, Lance really has it out for McDuffie.
I didn't say McDuffie.
He didn't confirm.
I said
you
stay
can't
tuned.
confirm or deny, but yeah.
I love Trent McDuffie. That man is he's an amazing football player. I love him.
Especially right now, he's playing his best ball of his life.
Look, Julia, I want you to tap into my mind just for a second. I have to look at this now because I told you guys once the Chiefs started winning Super Bowls, you have to look at this from more of a business sense than a fan sense. Like, we love our players here, but growing up, like, the Chiefs just kept guys a lot of times because of the loyalty and fans loved them and they were trying to have fan approval. Now they have to be a little bit more Patriot-esque, where you have to make some business decisions. That's why they're not going to sign Nick Bolton back. That's why they didn't sign L'Jarius Sneed back. That's why you've seen them make some unpopular moves, because you can't afford to do those moves. You have to get out when it's right. And look, they nailed it on L'Jarius Sneed. They're going to nail it with Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton, I hope he has a great career after this, but they've gotten the most out of him. Yeah. He's not going to be a long-term answer because you don't sign long-term middle linebackers unless they're Ray fucking Lewis. You just don't do it. Unless they're elite of the elite, you don't do it.
Like a Luke Kuechly or something.
Yeah. If they had like a top 2, they had Fred Warner. Yeah, they probably paid Fred Warner. You're not paying Nick Bolton. You're not going to, and again, Trent McDuffie, if we're going to go down that road real quick, Trevor, Trent McDuffie plays a position where the Chiefs have had a ton, and we talk about having no success at left tackle and wide receiver or missing on it. They've nailed the cornerback position time and time again. So Who's to say they don't find another Trent McDuffie? Where they, hey, you know what? Let's get 2 first-round picks this year, and let's do it again like they did in 2022, where they go get a rush end, a defensive end, and a cornerback.
Trent ain't going nowhere, bro.
Maybe he doesn't.
He ain't going nowhere.
But I'm prepared, emotionally, mentally, and all that, to see him go somewhere else. Because we know cornerbacks age like a motherfucker in this league, dude. And this team's trying to win multiple Super Bowls down the road. They don't want to get hamstrung to a cornerback. Because how many teams do you know, Joe, right now that are hamstrung to cornerbacks in their late 20s, early 30s that are contending for Super Bowls? It doesn't happen. A lot of those teams are young at cornerback. Look at the majority of teams right now that are winning. The majority of them are young and have young, talented cornerbacks that are on rookie deals or on cheaper deals. That's just the facts of it. Look at the Chiefs. They've never paid a cornerback, ever. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Sorry. And sure, it's great. But he'll be what, 26 years old by the time he's eligible for his contract extension? Do you really want to pay Trent McDuffie the next 4 or 5 years? Because I think you're getting the best of him right now. That's just my take. That's just my take, guys. I know we all love our players, but you have to look at it from a business sense because the Chiefs can spend that money and go get themselves a powerhouse wide receiver, a powerhouse left tackle, difference makers at more important positions. And they can backfill the cornerback position. We've seen them do it time and time again.
This is true. Julia with the next question. Why do you think the defense struggles to get off the field on 3rd and long? That is a mystery.
No, it's not. I actually don't think it's a mystery. Here's the thing,
up there with the Bermuda Triangle.
You know we talk about how Andy Reid holds back? I think Spags has been doing the same. Because you see the same fucking problem every time.
It's a lot of underneath shit that we allow to get extra yards after the catch.
It's
annoying
the
as
flats.
fuck. Yeah.
Do you really think Spags is going to make that mistake in the postseason? Do you really think he's just going to leave that area naked? Because you know that teams are going to look at this whole season's film. Because look at the way last season, remember Kadarius Toney stepped on or was on lined up off sides, and the way the defense played in that game, they played okay. It wasn't a great game though, right? Yeah. They played okay. They shut Josh Allen down in Buffalo in the postseason. Why? Because they gave him a whole different experience. They played completely different.
They flipped the film on.
Yeah, that is the way Spags does it. So I know it's so frustrating in the regular season, just like how Andy contains the offense. But then you saw, this is the final game of the season, and Spags didn't have Chris Jones. This is a desperate 10-win Steelers team, and he held them to 10 points.
Yeah.
Why? How many times sure was a flat open? It wasn't. They convert some third downs.
This was a playoff
miracle passes.
This was a playoff game to us, bro.
Yes.
We played it like a playoff game. Yeah.
Exactly. That is why you saw a difference in the approach from both sides of the ball.
And the plays that we had drawn up for Kelsey too, were like we hadn't seen those plays all year.
That touchdown play, where the fuck's that been?
Yeah, that was an incredible drawn up play, bro.
Yeah.
Kelsey was wide ass open.
Yeah.
How many times has Kelsey been wide ass open like that all year?
The quick screens to Xavier Worthy on the flat, like, where's that been?
Yeah.
Like, we now understand, this is the Chiefs just kind of, we don't have to show you these things because we're winning without doing it.
It's true, man. It's true.
Man. So I think you're going to see a much different approach defensively from Spags, the way he's calling games in the postseason opposed to the regular season.
I agree. Dustin Norton, who would you want in the postseason the least? The Bills or the Ravens? Why?
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
I'm going to say that right now. I know that sounds like a cop-out. I do not fear either one of those teams. If you were to ask me who do I think is going to be the easier opposition, I think the Ravens. Because of the fact that the Chiefs have just always, and that sounds weird because the Chiefs have beaten the Bills 3 times.
We're in their head heavy.
I think the Ravens, because of the fact that stylistically the Chiefs I would rather face Lamar Jackson than Josh Allen.
Yes, because Lamar's shown he can become an absolute pumpkin back there in the postseason. Josh Allen is fucking incredible in the postseason.
If you make Josh Allen,
he just happens to lose to us.
We've seen.
He's been insane in the postseason.
We've seen in the postseason when Josh Allen drops back 35 times, he annihilates.
Yeah.
You've seen Lamar Jackson. How many times in the postseason, Trevor, he's dropped back 35 times and annihilated a defense?
Right. It hasn't happened.
That's not Lamar's game, and that is what Spags makes you do.
Right.
Spags makes you stay in the pocket. He does not let. When is the last time, Trevor? Because even in the game that Josh Allen destroyed our defense in 2021, Patrick Mahomes had more rushing yards than Josh Allen in that game.
Yeah.
So here, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, Spags keeps you in the box. He keeps you in your enclosed area and makes you have to beat them in the air. So I would feel much better facing Lamar Jackson in that category than facing Josh Allen, who has proven in his career I can beat a defense just standing in the pocket.
I mean, the 13-second game alone, Josh Allen had one of the best performances I've ever seen in the postseason.
Yeah.
And he lost because we just happened to have the ball last, and we were the better team at the end of the day.
Right.
Like, that was the only reason. That game could have went either way, but Josh Allen could not be blamed for that game.
Let me make it clear.
It's incredible.
Let me make it clear. If it is the Bills, I feel fucking great.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so much pressure on the Bills.
Especially this year's Bills, especially with the defense, the way it's banged up, and they're becoming leaky. We'll go carve them
because
up.
this Bills team didn't face this Chiefs team with, let's say, Joe Tooney plays left tackle or DJ Humphries.
Yeah.
Fact is, neither one of them were left tackle in that game. They didn't have Isaiah Pacheco in that game. They didn't have Hollywood Brown in that game.
Yeah.
And they didn't have, I think, Charles Wynn, who just came back.
That's what I'm saying. And then again, both teams, both the Ravens and the Bills and the trajectory they're in compared to the Chiefs, where the trajectory we're in, we're getting as healthy as possible and we're catching our stride and playing our best ball. Their defenses are both been leaky.
Yeah.
I mean, the Ravens' defense the secondary's been awful all year.
Yeah, they've gotten better. They have gotten better.
Because they've been getting more pressure up front. They've been, getting more pressure up front with the defensive line, which has been good all year. The defensive line is good and it's very talented, but it was way better last year, and we beat them in Baltimore.
Yep.
I am not worried about Lamar Jackson in the postseason until given a reason to worry about him.
And I'm not worried about Josh Allen either.
I would be a little more about him, but at the same time, I mean, the Chiefs are the better team of the bunch, so it doesn't matter, man. We're not worried about either one of them.
I'm going to be real with you. I think if you look at this playoff picture right now, this sounds arrogant. This might be the easiest path the Chiefs may have in the Mahomes era. Because most of the time you have Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and another awesome.
Joe Burrow could still make it here. I mean, there's a chance. I know.
The only way that happens, so Trevor, is the Broncos lose today and lose against the Chiefs.
Well, yeah, Joe Burrow's got to beat the Broncos.
And they got to beat that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And the Bengals have to win their next 2 games, and the Broncos have to lose their next 2 games. The likelihood of that is not good. And I think, honestly, I'm going to be real with you, I think the Chiefs would make sure the Broncos win next week if that was the case. Let's say the Bengals win today, and they know that if the Bengals win next week and the Broncos lose, the Bengals, because out of respect,
I think
Joe Burrow in the playoffs.
I think we would beat the Bengals' ass if we caught them that postseason.
Right, but we know, Trevor, that
we would destroy them.
Joe Burrow.
Oh, you should.
Yes.
He's been incredible this year.
Yes.
His team's been shitty, but he's been insanely good.
He's the only current quarterback in the league that's beaten Patrick Mahomes in the postseason.
He's gotten the best of us at times, yeah.
So
And it also took Pat's biggest blunder of his career in the postseason as well.
I'd take the Chiefs plus 6.
Of course. I think we would destroy them.
Or -6.
I think we're an awful matchup for them. I think we would destroy them. Our defense would be all over Joe Burrow. Anyways, it ain't going to happen because they're not going to make the postseason, but they could, but yeah.
But would you agree? Look at the playoff picture right now. Justin Herbert and the Chargers.
I mean, those teams have played us tough, but when it comes to postseason, we're going to put, for sure.
Bo Nix in his first postseason.
Right.
Lamar Jackson, who we know is a pumpkin in the postseason, and Josh Allen, who you're 3-0 against.
Yeah.
And
we're in all their heads.
The Texans, who are a walking one and done.
They're probably outside of the Atlanta Falcons, who's probably going to win their division somehow. They're probably the worst division leader in the entire league.
Yeah. And if let's say by chance the Colts sneak in or the Dolphins sneak in, are you fearful of either one of those teams?
Definitely not.
Come on.
Definitely not.
That's what I'm saying, bro. If you look at this, the Chiefs with the defense and the offense clicking the way it is, this might be a roll.
Honestly, the NFC is far more entertaining as far as how those games are going to play out. I think we know what's going to happen in the AFC for the most part.
Glad, bro. I put a
Rams.
I put a hundy on the Chiefs when they were plus 650 to win the Super Bowl. Oh baby.
Oh, did you?
I put a hundy on that, dude. Immediately
nice.
When I saw that it was 3-4 weeks ago, or it was after the Bills lost. They dropped to 3rd place in the Super Bowl odds.
I'm terrible at futures, man. But I mean, the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl is always kind of a good bet.
So good, man.
Seems, yeah. Let's see. So Mac 10, speak it. How do you see the road for KC? I say this goes right into what we were just talking about. I say they play Pittsburgh in the divisional, Baltimore in the championship, and the Lions for the Super Bowl. Not confident because of the injuries, but I still believe.
The only way that would happen, though, is if, let's say, the Steelers and Bills played, and the Steelers would have to beat the Bills, right?
Steelers are trending down, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I would pick the Steelers to beat the Bills right now. 3 weeks ago, I probably would have. But right now, they'd have to go to Buffalo, and I don't know if that could happen. I would probably pick the Bills in that game, which means that the Chiefs would get the Ravens in the divisional round. Yeah, they would get probably the Ravens, based on seedings right now, because they would be the lowest surviving seed. Correct? They'd be the Texans if the Texans won. Texans would have to beat the Ravens, or they'd be the Broncos. I don't know how it goes. The fact is, I think what's going to end up happening. I think the AFC Championship is probably going to be the Ravens and Chiefs. I think that's probably what's going to end up happening.
I think it's going to be Bills, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I think if the Ravens and Bills played in the postseason, I'd pick the Ravens.
I'm picking the Bills.
Dude, the reason why that matchup, we talk about how the Chiefs stylistically match up with the Ravens so well, dude. I don't think that was an accident that what happened in that first game. The Ravens beat the living hell out of the Bills.
Sure, it's hard to beat a team twice, and I just trust Josh Allen and Sean McDermott to be the better duo in the postseason.
You do?
In the postseason, how could I not?
And that matchup, that's the one matchup I like the Ravens because again, I've seen them do it.
I'm saying, man.
To your point, if I saw the Bills beat them 35-10, I'd be right along. I'd be like, no, it's Bills. But I saw how easy that game was.
Yeah.
And I think, dude, there's something stylistically, because I think that the Ravens offense would annihilate that Bills defense. I think they would annihilate them. What are they going to do against Lamar Jackson on the ground and Derrick Henry? They would annihilate them.
You can see the same thing about Josh Allen and James Cook.
It would probably be a high-scoring game.
Yeah.
It would probably be like 37-34. But I like Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry got like a $150.
I'm not saying it's like it's not even close.
I think the Ravens have the better defense.
They have a lot more points for sure this year. The
But I'm saying,
secondary,
the last 8 weeks, they've been a good defense, dude.
they got the players that can force Josh Allen into some situations that makes him
And I like John
uncomfortable.
Harbaugh better in that situation than McDermott.
I mean,
I
Sean McDermott's been far more successful the past decade in the postseason.
Yeah,
It's not even close.
I think he's had better teams.
It's not even.
I would agree with you on that. But then again, last year John Harbaugh was in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, but Lamar's been around just as long, bro.
When was the last time the Bills hosted an AFC Championship? It hasn't happened.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Since we were kids. So that's all I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, it's because the Chiefs exist.
right.
I mean, let's be honest, it's just because we're here.
Right.
I mean, otherwise, I think they would have hosted a lot of them.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
Yeah, so
I'm rooting for that matchup, though. I want to see the Bills and Ravens go at it.
of course, bro.
I
Any
really wanna see that
football
matchup.
fan wants to see that.
I really want
These
to see
two
that
teams
matchup.
with the win or go home situation. That's
see which one of the step kids are going to come to
bro.
Kansas City.
Take
get
the
their
over
ass
on the
beat.
points,
Yeah.
no matter what the score. You
Yep.
think? Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's some good football right there. So I don't know. I don't believe in the Steelers right now. They're trending down for me, bro. I don't think they're going to win a playoff game. In my personal opinion,
It's looking that way, bro. It really
so
is.
we'll see. Brent, is it a coincidence that all the real AFC contenders had to play 3 games in 11 days except for the Bills? Are you
Yes.
hinting that the NFL giving the Bills some special treatment?
I'm not doing that.
I'm not either.
I'm not doing
I just
that.
think it happens.
Because
I
here's
think
the
it's
thing.
more of a coincidence.
It
than
could have
anything.
very well easily been the other way around where the Chiefs didn't get that and the Bills did, and I'd be sitting here saying that's ridiculous. I'm going to say the same thing. Look, guys, the Chiefs, yes, they got boned on their schedule, but guys, it's more about the fact that the Chiefs are such an attraction.
Yeah.
That's what comes with that. That's a price you pay when you are the 2-time defending champs. Everybody wants to see Patrick Mahomes. Now Josh Allen's an attraction as well, but they haven't won like the Chiefs. So the demand isn't as much there for them to play on all these different games.
And at the end of the day, that third game in 11 days, we had fucking Andy Reid dressing up as Santa Claus
You know
in the
what I'm
locker
saying?
room, bro. So I mean, it could have been better of a situation for us.
And now it pans out perfectly. Like
Now
I
we
said,
get a
they
week
had
off,
3
2 weeks off. Yeah,
man.
3 weeks. Well, 3
Yeah,
weeks.
essentially 3 weeks because that final week they'll practice a little bit.
Yeah.
They're not playing games in that week. They'll play games on that Saturday or Sunday.
Watching
following-
film on whoever we're going to be
Yeah.
playing in the postseason.
So
yeah.
it worked out beautifully for the Chiefs, guys.
Yeah. I mean, that's it, looking at it from before it was going to take place. Like I said, like if the Chiefs would have lost one of those games, like 3 games in 11 days, dude. Like we dropped to one of these playoff teams.
they
I
were
mean,
due.
that's yeah. So, but we're victorious. Chiefs or HD Chiefs fan. Do you know why the Chiefs only select team captains for the postseason and never for the regular season?
I have no idea. That's a great question.
It's probably just a team thing.
It might be just a traditional thing that Andy Reid does.
Yeah.
Like if he says like, "Hey, all year long you were a guy that represented this team the best way. You're a captain." You know, I think there's like 4 or 5 of them, if I'm not mistaken. It might just be his veteran leadership because maybe in the regular season it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I know that Patrick Mahomes and Creed Humphrey and I think Chris Jones are normal captains. Travis Kelce I think is one of them.
I think
as
Nick
well.
Bolton's been a captain in the postseason.
He's been a green dot for sure. I know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't really get caught up in all that stuff because we know who the leaders of this team are anyway.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's a good question. I never really thought about that.
Yeah. Julia Gulia, last question as far as right now. Which wild card team can upset?
Well, it's going to really depend on where they land.
Yeah.
I
think the Chargers.
I don't believe in the Chargers, dude.
I think the Chargers could upset somebody.
Dude, I don't like their offense at
When you
all.
talk about coaching, I mean, John Harbaugh's coaching his ass off
Yes,
this year.
but that's the thing that like I agree with you. Like it almost sounds like it doesn't make sense for me to
And
say
that
that 'cause
defense is good.
John Harbaugh is so damn good at what he does, but dude, their offense sucks.
I don't think their offense needs to be good. You don't think they can go beat the Texans?
On the road, your offense has to be good.
You don't think they can go beat the Texans if they face them?
I don't think they face the Texans.
I'm saying,
Yeah,
I mean,
the
depending.
Texans would face the best. They would face
If-
the best
if-
wild card team. So it'd probably be the Broncos.
Well, they're the division winner, so they'd be what, the 4th seed, right?
Yeah, they would face the 5 seed.
So, but
The
if-
5 seed would probably be.
But the Broncos and the Chargers could be interchangeable right now, so the Broncos could leapfrog the Chargers if they win and the Chargers lose today. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I think
No, right now.
the
right
Chargers
now-
or the Broncos could go upset the Texans.
No, right now
for
the
sure.
Texans would host the Steelers.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'd pick the Steelers.
So the Steelers being a wild card
I
team,
think
that
the
would be
Steelers-
my wild card team
Yes.
to upset the
There we go,
Texans.
Julia. There
Yeah.
it is. I agree. I think the Texans are 1 and done. I don't believe that team.
But if I'm also being honest,
dude, I literally believe in the Chargers more than I believe in the Texans.
No, me too.
Yes.
The Chargers are a good team, dude.
I know.
And Justin Herbert has that.
The Texans just
talent.
don't have it.
Yeah.
They are.
Well, and then
CJ Stroud looks broken right now.
Oh, yeah, and you lose Tank Dell.
Yeah.
The worst time possible.
Dude, they have the worst offensive line in the playoffs.
Their defense is really good. But
I would hammer the Steelers in this game.
2 points last week, dude. Like, that's rough.
In a big game.
Only points you scored was a safety.
Dude.
That's hard to do in the NFL. That's hard to do.
I would pick any team over the Texans right now in the AFC playoffs.
Yeah, yeah.
The only reason they're making the playoffs is because they have a shit division.
Yeah, and the only team that the Broncos or Chargers are in the lower seedings because we exist.
So I'm going to say, Julia, that's the team. Pittsburgh would be the upset team of the wild card. In fact, I would go ahead and pick that right now. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
If that ends up being the matchup, I am 100% picking the Steelers.
I ain't gonna lie to you though. I can see the Bills falling to like the Chargers or the Broncos. I know that sounds crazy. I would pick the Bills. But those two teams have those kind of formula where they force you to play to their tempo. Yeah. They're both really good at it.
I just don't, man.
Especially the Chargers.
Buffalo, that's tough, man.
I know, dude, but John Harbaugh is a guy that's just like, if Justin Herbert needs to sling it in any certain occasions, he can do it.
I know this sounds lame, but if they
just got J.K. Dobbins back.
If one of those teams of the Chargers or Broncos had Joe Burrow, I would agree with you.
Yeah, Justin Herbert has had one of the worst letdowns of the postseason.
And we have no idea what Bo Nix will do in the postseason. I would take Josh Allen over those guys. But if you tell me, hey, the next round,
if we're just talking the quarterback,
let's say the Steelers have a very impressive game in Houston, and then they got to go to Buffalo in the next round.
Yeah,
dude, I might pick the Pittsburgh Steelers. I would pick Baltimore. And I already told you, I would pick Baltimore in Buffalo. I would pick the Ravens.
I think Baltimore would destroy the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No, that's what I'm saying. The second round, whoever would go to Buffalo, I'd probably pick that team. The Steelers or the Ravens,
dude.
I'd probably pick that team.
We just saw. I mean, look how uncomfortably close that New England game was last week with the Bills.
The only reason it was even close.
If that's the Chargers win.
Because Drake May threw that ball basically in the end zone and gave them a touchdown.
That's what I'm saying. They had the lead into the middle of the third.
Yeah, they won the game.
Yeah, so
the Steelers gave the Chiefs in the match.
You tell me John Harbaugh and Justin Herbert and them boys with that defense couldn't go beat the Bills? I think they could, man.
That's what I'm saying.
I might put some money on it, maybe not.
I like quarterback matchups, Trevor. Is what I look at.
Sure.
And Lamar Jackson, for whatever reason, plays well against the Bills.
Well, okay, this is it. All I'm going to say on this game. But like, if that does happen, if they match up with the Chargers and Bills, Justin Herbert's not some slouch at quarterback, and John Harbaugh's the better coach.
But we've seen him give up the
Jim Harbaugh's better
in the history of the postseason.
Yeah, but Jim Harbaugh's here. That changes things, dude. He's turned that team around, bro. I got to give him that, and he's changed.
Justin's got to do it for it.
But he's changed. They're not depending on Justin Herbert to like be the guy right now. That's a very run. They just got J.K. Dobbins back. The really good defense, one of the, if not the best scoring defense in football outside of us right now.
Think how crazy that sounds. Say
I'm
that
just
out
saying,
loud.
bro.
Say that out loud. They're relying on J.K. Dobbins to win a road postseason.
I don't even think they're relying on J.K. They're honestly been relying on that defense, and they've been playing a very slow tempo offense, a lot of plays, a lot of clock management.
If they hold the Bills under 20 points, I could see it.
You keep Josh Allen off the field, and you run the ball and play well.
Do you think they'd hold the Bills under 20? That's the only way they win that
game. They've done it like all year.
They could win that game like 17-16.
They've done it to everybody like all year, bro. They've done it to everybody all year. I mean, I could see them. I'm just saying. Yeah. Like, I think that's outside of the Steelers, who I think is the obvious one. If they beat the Texans, obviously we're all going to bet the Steelers to win, to be the upset.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I think if the Chargers meet the Bills, that's a game to look out for if that matchup happens. I'm just saying.
Okay.
So that's the last question. Let me check one more time, see if we got anything else. Yeah. Oh, wait, they've got one more from Bumpa BB in the clutch. Let's see. Should Tooney stay at left tackle or give Humphreys another try?
You already know what I said.
Yeah, we discussed this at the top of the show.
Guard, man. I think if he has to play in a pinch, he'll play left tackle, but that's not what you want. You want your cleanup hitter to hit cleanup.
Okay, Lance is on the side of Humphreys becoming the guy when he's ready and healthy. Yes. I'm on the side of Tooney. I'm not broke. Yes. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So we're on opposite sides of that. But yeah, he follows that up with another question: would you rather re-sign D-Hop or Hollywood? Hollywood easily for me. It's Hollywood.
Yeah,
D-Hop's getting too old.
I have to see the posting. This is the same thing Marcus Dash and I talked about on the phone
Ideally
yesterday.
both, but yes.
We've only seen 2 games of Hollywood. Can he stay healthy?
I just think he fits.
We know the D-Hop game.
I just think he fits. I mean, honestly, I won't be mad if we pick.
Great fit in this
of course. I'm saying, older, but they're two different. They do two different things. I think dynamically, Hollywood fits this offense better, and I think the way he's come back back in, he has that trust in Mahomes. They're making plays already, getting 8-7 targets back-to-back games.
Yeah. I will say this.
I just say it looks nice.
Again, this is just ahead of time, guys. Get ready for some off-season topics. I actually think there's a chance both come back.
That would be fucking.
Because I think both of them are
with
gonna
Rashid too, bro.
Yes, and here's the reason why, Trevor. I think that D-Hop at this stage of his career, making $130 million in his career, he's now chasing greatness.
Especially if he gets a ring this year.
Yes, he wants to make
go
the Hall
get
of
another
Fame.
one.
I think that D-Hop knows I can go play for some shit team and win 5 games next year and then retire, or I can stay in Kansas City and collect a couple chips.
And if those guys all come back, Travis Kelce coming back.
And Hollywood Brown is not going to be expensive at all. He'll be a 1-year, $4 or $5 million deal guy with some incentives, and he'll be 27, 28 years old. He's great. He's great for that aspect. D-Hop is a great bridge player for this Chiefs team right now. When they draft another guy or help Xavier Worthy or help Rashee Rice get his fucking head right.
Yeah.
You know, because we talked about how D-Hop would have been perfect for Rashee last year.
Yeah.
He would be great for Rashee moving forward because I think the Chiefs have long-term aspirations for Rashee, and I think that if D-Hop is with him and mentors him for a little bit, that's a great situation. I think D-Hop and Hollywood Brown right now as it stands, it depends on what they do in the postseason.
Yeah.
They both play well. I think the Chiefs figure out a way to keep them both.
I think they do play well.
Inexpensive wide receivers. You're not paying anybody right now in the wide receiver room. So if you get both those guys back for like $12, $13 million combined.
And two on top of that, we haven't seen D-Hop really get a full workload in the game yet.
Exactly.
He's only been playing I think the most he's played 52% of snaps.
If that.
You let him play 65, 70% of snaps, let him get out there and make those plays and convert those third downs. Dude, he can absolutely go nuclear in the postseason. There's a real chance,
man. You see both those guys back,
especially in the red zone. I love D-Hop in the red zone. He's been great. He's a great addition.
And like our guy HD Chiefs fan just said, and we all been talking about it. When Rashee gets suspended, you're going to want to have some assurances out there.
And to bump up BB's point as well, we don't know how Rashee's going to react or how his body's going to be after that injury. It's a massive injury. So yeah. Appreciate all the questions, guys. That's all we got, man.
Yeah, we appreciate every one of you guys. You guys make this great. Speaking is where it's at. If you guys have not already done it, go to YouTube, hit notifications, hit subscribe, hit like, hit all that stuff, share, all that stuff. We appreciate it. But get in the comments. That is where all the action happens during the show, and we couldn't do it without you guys. It's not nearly as fun without you guys. Trevor, we have one more order of business to get to. What is it called?
Hold this L.
Each and every episode, we finish off every single episode with a series of L's in the world of sports. Whether those L's are friendly L's or not so friendly L's in the world of sports, we promise you, who's ever holding those L's in the world of sports deserve those L's in the world of sports. Trevor Twiddle, who's holding the L for you this week?
All right, man. I know nobody's been really focusing on the NBA as much as of right now because it's that crunch time of the NFL season and Chiefs are in the postseason and all this and that. But I gotta give it to my Sacramento Kings, man. Big Kings fan. Obviously, it's my team. I love this squad. I love these players. But it has not been clicking. We're 13-18 at this point of the season. Really high hopes heading into this year after what we did last year, after the last couple of years, making the postseason, knocking out the Warriors a couple seasons ago, building on some things. Hopefully, I was hoping we can build on that, but it's been, adding DeMar DeRozan this past offseason too, had high hopes with that. It just has not worked out. I don't know whether it's the chemistry. There's a lot of things going on wrong. But I think we picked the wrong thing to attack here by firing Coach Mike Brown. I think it was the wrong move, in my opinion. Not only do I think it was the wrong move, several coaches across the league, including Steve Kerr, Mike Malone from the Nuggets, several other head coaches across the league, voiced their displeasures about the move. And the Kings have been a terrible franchise at finding and keeping head coaches and building chemistry with head coaches, or a revolving door of head coaches. And, when you see something that is consistent like that, the problem is most likely you. And the problem is the front office of the Sacramento Kings, unfortunately. We can't find the proper leadership. We had Vlade Divac, making biased choices in the draft by not drafting Luka Doncic. And we've had, just several blunders in the front office and leadership of this team. And as a fan, it's very tough to watch. I mean, it's felt similar to the early years of the Chiefs. And we, growing up, a lot of just ridiculous moves and just dumb decisions and terrible draft picks and certain things. But we have a good team on paper. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, bringing in DeRozan. You got young Keegan Murray, who's a stud in my opinion. Malik Monk coming off the bench is one of the best 6 men in the game. Just a lot of things just not clicking. So things getting. I think this is more of a roster issue in my opinion, rather than a head coaching issue, because I think Coach Mike Brown really came in and changed the culture, and we've had our best years the last couple of years with him under his tutelage. And now we're just going to let him go when we have a rocky start this season. I don't think he was the problem. And I do want to play what Mike Malone said, and I couldn't honestly disagree with him in any way here, talking about the Kings.
And the reason I say that is, so we're going into a meeting this afternoon, and the good thing about me is that I'm on social media. I'm not aware of what's going on outside these walls sometimes. I've had an office with no windows for 10 years. It's probably taken about 6 years of my life. And I go into the meeting and the coaches say, "You hear about Mike Brown?" I said, "What happened?" They said, "He got fired." And at first I was really shocked and surprised. Then I caught myself. So why am I shocked and surprised? For two reasons. One, because as an NBA head coach, ultimately you're going to get the blame. When they win, it's going to go to Sabonis and Fox. When you lose, it's going to go to Mike Brown. That's the way it works. And two, who he works for. So I'm not surprised that Mike Brown got fired, because I got fired by the same person. And what really pissed me off about it was the fact that they lost last night, 5th game in a row, I believe. Tough loss, found a jump shooter. They had practice this morning.
This is so fucked up.
And he's in his car going to the airport to fly to LA, and they call him on the phone. No class, no balls. That's what I'll say about that.
No class, no balls. And listen, he's not wrong. They let him lose that game, go through his walkthrough with his team the next day, preparing for the next game. Let him get ready to go on the flight to the next team. They call him while he's in the car and fire him over the phone. It's no class, no balls. Mike Malone nailed it, bro. Yep. And I loved Mike Malone. I love Mike Malone. I loved him when he was in Sacramento. I love that guy. He's a no bullshit kind of coach. Love him or hate him. He is who he is. I like guys like that. Steve Kerr echoed the sentiments as well. Those are all respectable coaches among this league, championship caliber coaches that are in this league, and then they all said the same thing. The problem is the Kings, man. This has been a problem for a very, very, very long time, as far as having some kind of stability and just keep blaming coaches when things are going wrong and firing coaches and no consistency. Sometimes you got to tough certain things out, and Mike Brown changed the culture of this team and had us, giving us reasons to believe. And it's I don't know what it's going to look like. It's pretty grim right now. I think Doug Christie, who I love, as more of our defensive-minded coach, has really helped this defense. He's the interim head coach. I don't know how long that's going to last. I love OG Christie. I mean, that was one of my favorite players growing up as a Kings fan myself. So I don't know. I don't know what to think of this moving forward. The rough start right now. There's a lot of games left. Obviously, we can turn things around. But the West is tough, and you struggle in the West, you're gonna reach the bottom a lot faster than you're gonna reach the top. So, Mike Brown didn't deserve to be fired, in my opinion. I saw it coming because I know this team and I know how we do things. I was not surprised by it, but it is the wrong move. I mean, this is definitely, that's not how you fix things. He's not worthy of being fired, in my personal opinion. I think he's a really good coach, and he's done really good things since he's been here. He was the reason DeRozan signed over here, and now he's gone. That makes no sense to me. So Sacramento's got a lot of work to do for this basketball program, man. We got maybe the best stadium in the entire league. It's an awesome stadium, great fan base. We deserve better. So hopefully the Beam team can get it together on the court, because we all know they can't get it together behind their desks. So for that, Sacramento Kings, do me a solid favor and hold this hell.
Play that video real quick, Trevor, for me. It's not too late to bring this up.
Pat's a little banged up, so I don't know if he's gonna play or not. But I hope he's mobile enough, because we coming in Arrowhead.
You guys planning to get after that?
Yeah, for sure. Pat better make a good decision. I ain't making no threats. I'm making promises.
Our buddy Timothy Settle.
Never too late for that.
Timothy Settle from a little over a week ago. The Chiefs had a lot of games in a row in like a week's time, so we had to kind of combine everything today.
Honestly, didn't know who he was.
We didn't get to really talk about that Texans beatdown. Timothy made some promises, guys. He didn't make threats. He made promises because Patrick Mahomes was hurt, and everybody said, "Oh, you should rest him and not play him," and just things like that. And then Patrick ended up having a rushing touchdown. And if we could, Trevor, let's go ahead and put up that picture of Patrick rushing that touchdown. You'll see somebody in the background in the dust with an arrow pointed to them while they're on their, looks like they're cock and balls. That's Timothy Settle on his cock and balls watching the MVP rush for a touchdown. And wouldn't you know it, Timothy Settle settled for 0 quarterback hits and 0 sacks in this game. So shout out to Timothy Settle. You may not have made the box score, but you made the spoken podcast, and you got yourself something that we like to say is, hold it now! Appreciate you, buddy. We love you so much, Timothy Settle. You gave the Chiefs ammunition, and you got nothing in return except a big old fat L on both on the field and on the show. Love you, pal. You're doing great things. Keep up the great work.
I just want to give a shout out real quick to a commenter, Melissa Miller. Been watching you guys for a few months and now and love your takes on things, honest opinion, not just what everyone else is saying. Thank you, Melissa. Welcome to the show. Feel free to chime in whenever you want. We are here every Saturday at 11 a.m.
Melissa, thank you so much. Eminem, can we call you that? Can we call you Eminem, Melissa Miller?
Yeah.
Please don't make you run away. But we always appreciate having, a good camaraderie with everybody. We love meeting people through this thing. We wouldn't have known you otherwise, Melissa. So
yeah,
thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for watching, kind of like testing us out, vetting us a little bit. I kind of like that, like she didn't just jump right in and start saying things, even though we welcome that. I like that she was kind of like, let me see what these two dipshits are all about.
Who are these losers?
Yeah, right. So we appreciate that. I hope the robe didn't throw you off either. It's just, like I said, there's thematics here. But thank you for joining in, and hopefully we'll keep you around. And you can talk as much as you like because, like I said, we do that here. So you're fitting right in if that's what you want to do. So for everybody else that jumped in, you guys are awesome, man. I cannot name all of you because there's so many of you today, but you guys know who you are. All the regulars, all the new people, all the people that check in and out whenever they can. We appreciate all of you guys equally. And if you guys haven't done it, go to YouTube real quick and subscribe to the show and chime in when we're on the show live because we very much appreciate learning more about you guys and being more part of your guys' lives as a part of, and you guys are part of our lives because this is what we do here. And we're narrowing in on 300 episodes, and we couldn't be more happy about the direction the show is going. We got some exciting news that we're going to be talking to you guys about probably in the next couple of weeks as well for some growth on the show as well. So trust me when I say, guys, things are really starting to heat up over here, and it's because of you guys, because of the confidence you guys give us and the support you guys give us. We can't thank you guys enough. So for Trevor Twidwell, for the great Clay Windler that puts all this together on the back end at Red Stripe Cinema, for our entire Starcade Media family, for all the support that we get from them as well. I'm Lance Twidwell. Episode 296 of the Spoken Podcast is done and finished and finito. And until we're back here in like a fucking month, and we'll be here back next week talking about the Chiefs and them getting geared up and ready to go for whoever they're going to play in the postseason. Because next week's game doesn't really matter against the Broncos. We know that they're going to be resting starters. We're going to start gearing up towards the postseason and talk about some of these postseason matchups outside of the Chiefs as well. Because we have some fun games coming up, I believe. It's going to be a real shakeup, guys. I hope you're ready for it. We're going to be ready for it. Come back and hang out with us in episode 297. But until that time, we out of this bitch.
Later.